the class. All right, so good afternoon, class. Welcome to the class and happy Thanksgiving. We're going to have a bit of introductory phase for the creative writing episode, and also getting to know some of the information concerning the presentation skills. You will be required to do a presentation, what we call selling pitch. It's not based on any novel or poem or anything, but this one is to practice your presentation skills, as well as we get to know your oral skills also. You will have grades for oral classroom interaction, which is really important. But as usual, would like to start with something funny, which is the some information related to the elements of writing a short story. Let's watch it together. And as usual, we're going to take down notes and we will discuss it after watching the video.
A short story are setting, character, conflict, plot, and theme. Let's talk about setting. Setting is when and where a story happens. It helps in creating the atmosphere of the story. Example: underplays are at church, in the market, under the bridge, near the hospital, in the forest, and by the beach. While under time are last January, by winter, last New Year, during summer, on Christmas Day, and on his birthday. Next is character. Character is the person or animal that portrays in the story. It has 6 types, which are protagonist, antagonist, static, dynamic, round, and flat. Also, character is introduced through characterization or the presentation of character's motives through his speech, actions, and thoughts. Let's now familiarize the types of character. Protagonist is the good character. He is often opposed, exploited, or victimized. Antagonist is the bad character. He causes problems and sufferings to other characters. Static is the character who does not change. He is consistently bad or good from the beginning up to the end of the story. Dynamic is the character who changes. He transforms from being good to bad or bad to good. Round is the character that is hard to describe and predict. He has many qualities and emotions. And the last is flat. He is the character who is easy to describe and predict. He possesses and displays few traits. Let's now have the conflict. Conflict is the problem which the main characters need to solve. It can be categorized into 2, which are internal and external. Internal conflict happens when the character's problem is caused by his own limitations and weaknesses. Man versus himself is an example of internal conflict. It happens when a person is struggling because of himself. Example: Andrew can't forgive himself from his own past mistakes. On the other hand, external conflict happens when the character's problem is caused by the people or things around him. Man versus man is a type of external conflict. It happens when a character is struggling because of other characters' decision or action. Example: Andrew was forbidden by his parents to go to school. The next one is man versus nature. It happens when a character is struggling because of an unexpected event in the environment. Example, Andrew is caught in the rain on his way to his cousin's house. The last is man versus society. It happens when a character is struggling because of the beliefs and rules of the society. Example, Andrew was punished to sing Lupang Hinirang because he did not use the pedestrian lane in crossing the street. Let's now have the plot. Plot is the list and sequence of events in the story. It has 5 parts, which are exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, or ending. Let's now familiarize the parts of a plot. Exposition is the beginning part of the story. It introduces the characters, the setting, and the conflict. Rising action happens when the conflict is addressed by the main characters in the story. It is the part when the protagonist faces crisis or unstable state. Climax is the most interesting and breathtaking point of the story. It presents the protagonist's most challenging moment. Falling action happens instantly after the climax. It reveals the consequences, either good or bad, the characters need to deal with after the turning point of events. And the last is resolution or ending. It tells what happens to the characters after the problem or conflict is being resolved. It leaves readers a certain emotion such as sadness, happiness, disappointment, pity, or even heartbreak. Let's now talk about the last element, which is theme. Theme is what a story all about. It can be expressed in one word like love, friendship, and solitude. Also, it is the central idea or main message the author wants his readers to understand and to live by. Thank you for watching!
Okay, so this is really important to know the elements of writing any short story. Definitely, you will have a character or characters, and you will have a setting where the story is happening, when, where, and the setting, like the society that it is happening in. It's really important to know that, because when we get into the unit about short stories, you will be asked to answer questions related to. Okay, this is Safa. Hi, Safa. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm good. Yeah, sorry for joining late. I didn't think we'd have class on a holiday.
Yeah, I thought that I didn't also know that we could have the day off. I didn't get any
Oh,
instructions from the school administration.
okay.
So thank you for coming, and let's have it. I'll try my best to have it like a light comedy or a light. And by the way, the word comedy doesn't mean ha ha ha. It doesn't mean like jokes and fun. Comedy means a happy ending, like as you will see later on in Shakespeare and in drama in general. When we have a happy ending or a positive note, we close by a positive note, we call it comedy. All right. So maybe it has been for a long time used as comedy as a comic show, which is absolutely different from what we. All right. So as we mentioned, you joined a little bit late, Safa. So we will be focusing on creative writing in general. And in any creative writing, you need to think about the elements of writing a story. All right. So you will be asked to write a story, and when you do that, you have to think of the character or characters. And you have to think of the setting. Where is the setting happening? When? Is it in the past? Is it now? Is it in the future? And also you have to think of the rising actions. And please watch for those terminologies because you will be asked in your exam to define those and apply them on the reading. So when we say rising actions, it's the events and the actions that lead up to the climax. And what is the word climax? The climax refers to the most important turning point in the story, or the most important event that happened in the story that causes the plot. The plot is where you have the conflicts, starting to see the conflicts. The conflict could be between the one person and himself, him or herself, like to be good or to be bad, to do something nice or to do evil. And the most important example is to be or not to be. This is, of course, a soliloquy by Hamlet, whether to do an action or not to do it. So again, this is the kind of conflict between the person and himself. It could be a conflict between the person and other characters in the story. It could be a conflict between a man and a woman, a lover and a wife, or a family member, and so on. It could be also a conflict between the human being and the nature, as you will see in our play that we will study in this term. We're going to study the tempest, which means a severe storm. So the conflict that you will see in Act 1, Scene 1 is the people or the crew, the sailors are fighting back against the storm. So it's a huge conflict between man and nature. You will see how each conflict is different and how each conflict is followed up and depicted in the events of the story. When you go to the climax, then you will move on to the anti-climax. The problem starts to resolve until you reach the resolution or the conclusion, the ending of the story. Any story in the world has to have those elements. Sometimes the writers or the authors depend on open-ending story. Nevertheless, it is also still called the resolution. So what was the end of the story? You say it is left open to the reader to imagine or to decide how it is ended. So you can think of a story as a circle, that the circle, each one point is linked to the next one. In a minute, you will be writing a story yourself. So let's have a look at one of an article about the creative writing. So creative writing could be a task that is given to you in your university life, in your college, or even in your general life. And many students have talents inside and they maybe never knew about them. So why do we tend to have creative writing? These are reasons why you have prompts. First of all, you practice the language. Of course, what you are studying now in this course, you practice the English language. In what level? In the level that will help you to do well in university level. Okay, I just want to tell you something, and I had this question by many students, and they say, Miss, I am going to study engineering, or I'm going to do computer engineering. Why should I do literature and English language? Believe me, students, that those skills help you to develop your critical thinking as well as your application skills. So Shakespeare, I know, even my own kids, they tell me, why do we have to study this very complicated book like Shakespeare? And I always tell them that we don't care about the wording and this. We care about the mechanisms that we train you at the back. So we train you to criticize. We train you to be critical. We train you to see links and to see between lines and to jump to conclusions and to reach a verdict and to give a good argument. If the author using those words, it means that he has a positive tone or a bad tone. What is the message? So all of these points, I want you please to take care of in any novel you are reading, in any short story, in any play, and this is the way you need to answer when you are answering your questions. So practice the language. Even for those of us who are native English speakers, we are all on a language journey to go from beginners to skilled writers. To make progress on this language journey, you have to practice. And at the right practice, believe it or not, we are really into practice. Creative writing prompts are easy, fun ways to practice. And of course, I get you this article from the Scholar pages related to improving the creative writing in you. I wonder if any one of you attended a course on creative writing in school. My own daughter did this course, and I noticed a huge improvement in her even thinking, and to the storytelling and becoming critical and becoming attentive when you are reading a story about the suffering in Africa or the suffering in Palestine, what is happening now, and when you are able to write about it, that would be something great. The other reason is when you have no ideas and you are stuck, and this is sometimes you have a task in university and they tell you just write flawlessly or express any piece of creative writing. Or for you as a person, sometimes you have literary talents and you never knew about them. So it's an opportunity for you to write and you think about ideas. To develop your own ideas, how to move from the rising actions to the climax, how to create a plot, and how to develop your characters. It's important when you create a character, you think about developing a character and so on. And of course, it's fun. And I'm going to give you wonderful examples here. It's up to you. I'm going to put this on the Google Classroom and give you time to write the story of any of these. Choose one of the following prompts to apply all short story writing techniques, which is to take care of the setting, the rising actions, the climax, the plot, anti-climax, and resolution. And look at how funny it is going to be. It's to write a story of 500 to 700 words to tell me the story of a scar or the story of a water drop cycle. My daughter got one like this, a water drop cycle. What happens? And she puts it in a very nice way, and she wrote like on the first person as if she is the drop of water. So she said, I used to do this, I became this and this and so on. Tell the story of a day in your pet's life on the tongue of your pet, if you have a cat or something. And let me add one here. Tell the story of a teardrop. So this is a teardrop. I'm going to give you time to think it over as if you were a teardrop. What is the setting? What is the climax? What is the plot? What happens in your life and what is going to be the end result? So I'm going to have this activity. I'm going to stop sharing here and I'll give you this activity on Google Classroom. Is it clear? Is there anything that you do not understand?
No.
I hope this activity is kind of, we are in vacation mode and everybody's sitting. And you know what? We can also think of the Thanksgiving turkey. Do you like to write something about that? Do you like to imagine yourself the turkey?
Sure.
You like it?
Yeah, sounds fun.
Okay. tell the story of the Now you will imagine that you are that turkey, the poor turkey, and how you are going to react. So I placed it on the Google Classroom. If you can go please to your Google Classroom, it's in the announcement page. You will be writing your story, 500 to 700 words. Under the assignment, the communication piece. I just want to see how you're gonna think about it. Of course, you need to take care of the elements, all the short story elements. Do you need me to remind you what are they, or are you fine? You know what? Just in case I can, by all means, just remind you what are they. Are you on the Google Classroom?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and of course you have to have a theme. What is it about? If we say, for example, the turkey, maybe it's the theme of sacrifice. Or if you want to think about it from the point of view of, like, you know, some people say people are cruel. Again, it's up to you. This is a free space for you. So here are the elements of story writing. And by the way, story is just like a short story, long story, a novel, a novelette. They are all the same. They all should follow a plot, a character, setting, conflict, and theme. You will also have questions related to definitions, but for now, let's take it one step at a time. Are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now.